It's called the oldest rivalry in the South. Two schools separated by just 50 miles in a matchup that dates all the way back to the 19th century. The Tribe and Spiders have locked horns 125 times, but today's meeting will be the most important of them all. William & Mary and Richmond headed your way next. On a beautiful afternoon in Richmond, Virginia, you're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. And welcome inside Robins Stadium, where the 7th-seed Spiders get set to tangle with a familiar foe, the William & Mary Tribe. Here's an updated look at the bracket. Second round of the FCS football playoffs. Winner of this one's going to battle the winner of Illinois State and Western Illinois coming up next week. And hi, everybody. Glad you could join us alongside a former NFL and college head coach, Al Groh. I am Roy Philpott, and Al, what a great time of year it is for college football. And an interesting matchup here this afternoon. Two old rivals that just met 2 weeks ago in a game that Richmond was dominant in.
Roy, playoff football is always exciting and challenging, but especially so when you have a situation where these teams just played each other. That brings the change of strategy and tactics into a very intriguing matchup.
It was a 20-9 Spiders victory. William & Mary held to just 310 yards of total offense. So if the Tribe are going to be competitive, if they're going to have a chance, they're going to have to generate some big plays. A week ago, we saw that on special teams. Can they do it again?
They're going to have to try to steal some points other than those that are in the game plan. That is, block a kick, run a kick back, maybe get an interception. Those are the ways they're going to have to add to their point total.
The block kick for a touchdown here 1 week ago against Duquesne provided the fuel for victory in a 52-49 win. Can the Tribe do it again? We're about to find out here in Richmond. Kickoff is headed your way next. Beautiful afternoon back in Richmond, Virginia. The number 7 seed Spiders getting set to tangle with William & Mary. Al Groh, Roy Philpott back here with you. What a day it is. 50 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 6 miles an hour. Sunny skies as we're just about set and ready to go. Danny Rocco in his 4th season, the coach of the year in the Colonial Athletic Association. What a job he has done. 2nd straight season, the Spiders in the FCS playoffs, and of course the legendary Jimmy Laycock, 36th season with the Tribe. You see the record. What a remarkable job he has done. They've made the semifinals in the FCS playoffs twice, most recently in 2009. Now Richmond won the coin toss and deferred. It'll be Tribe football first. Great time of year to be a college football fan. This conference championship weekend, the 2nd round of the FCS playoffs about ready to kick off. Well, they call this the oldest rivalry in the South. Richmond has been dominant, coach, the last 4 meetings.
Richmond's had some issues, Roy, with their kickoff, with injuries and whatnot. In the last game, they pooch kicked everything real short to deny any particular return. Okay, I would look for them to repeat that strategy here today.
Devontae Dedman back deep to receive. And underway, the pooch kick. Brought by an up back at the 25. Barrels his way across the 30. 1st and 10 coming up for William & Mary. And our first look at Steve Cluley, the junior out of New Jersey. More of a pocket passer than a true dual threat signal caller. He's got to play well, and coach had 3 picks the last time these teams faced off.
Yeah, he's not a runner, but there's a possibility there if the defense does not account for him, then he will pull the ball. Both teams accomplished what they wanted with that kickoff. Richmond denied a long return. William & Mary got good field position, and they're going to open up in a tight set with 2 tight ends.
Dedman in motion, gets the deep handoff. And the far side run goes nowhere. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose 3 yards. Winston Craig with the stop. our impact players. Kendall Anderson, the running back for the Tribe. David Jones, 8 picks this season for Richmond, Coach.
David Jones is a multi-purpose player. He kind of plays safety. Sometimes he plays like a corner. He even plays sometimes like a linebacker. To have 8 interceptions and be the second leading tackler shows his versatility.
On second down, Cluley, play action, wants it all. And the deep pass overthrown. Oguni in coverage, and nothing doing on that play. Outstanding defense.
Yeah, beautifully played by Oguni. William & Mary, a little different approach from the first game, goes play action with a double move on the outside. Oguni kept his eyes on the receiver, wasn't fooled by it all, had tight coverage, creates a 3rd down and 12, all to Richmond's advantage.
Looking for Jack Armstrong on that last passing attempt.
Richmond's going to rely primarily, Roy, on a 4-man rush with a combination of 2 different coverages when they're in their 3rd down nickel package.
And this is where they thrive. 17 picks this season. Cluley with time. Dangerous pass and nearly picked off. Into double coverage looking for Daniel Kuzjak. And 3 and out for the Tribe.
Well, Richmond ran a beautifully executed 3-man game coming off the right side. They brought the 2 outside rushers on hard slants inside, looped the left tackle all the way from left to right. He came free, had a lot of contact on the quarterback. Defensive line coach Lee-Vern Bielenroy has done an excellent job with this young defensive line and had them ready with what is referred to as a Ram game.
Wendmuller on for the punt. Transfer from Virginia Tech. Driven back to the 20. Right up the guts. An opening. And the Spiders in business near side. Finally shoved out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Roy, we just talked about David Jones as a multi-purpose defender. He just showed us what a real overall football player he is with that punt return. That was a middle return. He took it right up the middle. At the beginning of the game, we said William & Mary was going to have to steal some yardage and some points on special teams. Well, Richmond reversed that immediately on the first special teams play.
Return of 45 yards. 1st and 10 for the Spiders from the Tribe 30. And our first look at Kyle Laletta, a sophomore signal caller out of Pennsylvania. Numbers very impressive. 2nd team All Colonial Athletic Association. Jacoby Green backfield. And the handoff will net 3 yards on 1st down. Well, Green, of course, one of our impact players. What a season he has had, as we documented. Luke Rhodes, a linebacker for William & Mary's got to play well tonight.
Luke is a very, very good player. He's got lateral quickness. He's got good instincts for the ball. Most particularly, Roy, he uses his hands very well against blockers. That win for the William & Mary defense has got to be encouraging because it didn't happen very often 2 weeks ago.
Officially a gain of 2 yards on 1st down. Play action. The dump off. Caught. James Pavick bullies his way into the red zone. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line for Richmond.
Perfect call for that situation. Look, Roy, you got to figure that William & Mary is geared up to stop the run. That's what really got him beat in the first game. So on the second play of the game, Richmond goes with a play action pass. The strong safety attacks the line of scrimmage. That's why the flat was open, precisely delivered by Laletta.
On 1st down, Green. It's been a touchdown machine this season, stacked up at the line, and barrels his way forward. A short pickup on 1st down.
William & Mary is going to constantly bring one of the 2 safeties down to create an 8-man box against this running game. That'll help them against the run, but it does create one-on-one coverage outside on the 2 fine Richmond wide receivers.
You see the numbers on the red zone offense this year for the Spiders. Very impressive. Tribe went 3 and out on their first possession. Spiders trying to counter with a quick strike. Play action again. And Brown's got it. Inside the 5, rolled out at the 3-yard line, close to 1st down yardage.
Yeah, the Spiders' offensive game plan is very obvious. fake that run inside, suck the defense to the middle of the formation where they've obviously been preparing all week long, and throw the ball in and out into the flat on these bootlegs, which Lauletta looks extremely comfortable delivering the ball right on target.
Richmond, one of the top offenses in America on third down. Out of the eye, Green, straight ahead, touchdown.
Well, Richmond's done everything right here now on every play. They're real good on a 3-and-out on defense, an excellent punt return, an impressive drive to get in the end zone right away. Richmond's won 4 games in a row in this series. They know they can beat this team. There's got to be some doubt in the mind of the William and Mary players. Can we actually beat these guys? And that series right there did nothing but create more doubt.
Oh, the Spiders with a quick scoring drive. 30 yards in 5 plays, and Richmond out in front, playing at home, the number 7 seed with an early 7-point lead. Second round action continues. You think this game doesn't mean a lot to these kids? Absolutely it does, and especially in a rivalry like this. First time ever that Richmond and William & Mary have met in the postseason, Coach. It's always a big deal, but this one means a little more.
This is kind of like Giants and Redskins meeting in the playoffs, or Alabama and Auburn meeting in the playoffs. Those kind of traditional rivalries. And when a national championship is at stake, it just intensifies everything.
Griffin Troe, the kicker for the Spiders. Replacing the injured Peter Yoder, was preseason all-conference. And the pooch kick fielded at the 28. Straight ahead to the 38. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tribe. So decent field position, Coach. What would you like to see out of their offense on their second possession?
Well, they tried 2 things that were unique from the last game, and that is they ran the jet sweep as a drive starter play, which gained nothing. Then they went with the play action on 2nd down with the double move. That got nothing. I think they just got to go back to basics and see if they've improved upon those from the last game. They're not going to do this with smoke and mirrors, Roy. It's going to be done at the line of scrimmage.
Tribe have been balanced pretty much this entire season, but struggled again 2 weeks ago in a loss against the Spiders. Who's Jack in motion? Anderson straight ahead, and a quality pickup on 1st down, give him 5.
Well, that sweep is a core William & Mary plays, Roy, in which they will pull 2 linemen based on the defensive alignment. They're trying to get extra blockers to the side to outnumber the defense, but the whole Richmond defense is based on never getting outnumbered. That is always winning the math game, and that'll be the game within the game throughout the course of the afternoon.
On 2nd down, Cluley. Dedman. And pass is caught. That should be good enough for 1st down yardage up at the 49-yard line.
Well, they've gone back to 2 of their core, or sometimes called bread and butter plays, to get this drive started. The power sweep to the left, and then the short little pass, likely to be completed, high percentage throw in front of these safeties who will play a little soft on the vertical route.
Dedman, a huge performance last week in the 3-point win against Duquesne. Erupting for over 220 all-purpose yards. Anderson with a running lane. Anderson. A nice move and a pickup of 13 yards. The drive continues into Richmond territory. Herlocker the stop.
Well, this is just a straight zone play inside. A lot of man-for-man blocks have to be made. In this particular case, there's a double team on the defensive left tackle. They get a lot of movement, a punch in the wall of the defense, and Anderson makes a nice break to the outside for additional yardage.
Standing block by the fullback, who was 2nd team All-CAA, Andrew Weinemer. Tribe looking for a response. Anderson. Another 1st down.
William & Mary created space by their 3 wide receiver look alignment that detached the linebacker, so there was a hole in the wall of the Richmond defense. These William & Mary offensive linemen, Roy, have clearly been challenged by the results of the last game to prove that they're better than what they were last time.
No question about it. Omar Howard finally made the stop from the 27 on first down. Anderson has been rock solid for William & Mary all season long, and gets the call again.
Keep pushing.
And now we're seeing a push from that offensive front for William & Mary, perhaps we didn't see 2 weeks ago.
Well, this is the first time we've seen this gap scheme play. That is, they're going to get blocked down, double team at the point of attack, pull the backside guard for additional blockers. So what we're seeing is William & Mary running a lot of plays in which they pull linemen from one side to the other to create additional blockers to win the math game.
Tribe very balanced. Offense has been solid this year. And the dump off complete into the red zone for William & Mary, as a pass is caught by Daniel Kuzjak. Jordan in coverage.
Nice job by Cooley, sliding within the pocket to his right to escape pressure coming from the left side. Throws it out to the sideline against this Richmond quarters coverage. The corners will be off, and that's the place to complete passes, is to the wide side of the field or to the sideline close to the boundary.
3rd and 2. Anderson, the stutter step, and a strong finish. It'll be 1st and goal for William & Mary from the 10. David Jones finally brought him down. Good
vision, good tempo by Anderson. A lot of times on these zone plays, Roy, the tempo of the back is important. If they rush it, they run into a pile of backs, okay, which they did right there. The line was beaten to the left side, but he had a nice pace, came back on the cutback. Now they're in the low red zone area.
The top backs in the country is Kendall Anderson, just a junior. Gets the call again, spins his way towards the end zone and comes up short. 2nd and goal from the 1, upcoming. David Herlocker with the hit.
Anderson has had a terrific year. Actually, they've had a two-man tailback situation, but Anderson's going to carry the majority, if not the entire load here today. William & Mary brings in additional linemen now. They're going to go with a big lineup with the ball actually inside the 1-yard line. We're going to see either a quarterback sneak or some type of direct run. I would doubt they're going to get very fancy with this play, Roy.
Anderson takes the direct snap, straight ahead, stacked up, driven backwards. And fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Gregory led the charge from the front 4.
The Tribe ran the same power play, double team at the point of attack, kick out with the fullback, pull the backside guard that Richmond scored on their last drive. Richmond stacked that one up very nicely. Look, they know the play. They practice against it all the time.
See if the Tribe will stay with Anderson. They will. The bread and butter stacked up. Nowhere to run again. And the Richmond defense stands tall.
Well, William & Mary just ran the same power play to the right side that they had run to the left side. As I said earlier, Roy, Richmond's very familiar with the play one. Look, they just played against it 2 weeks ago and prepared for it. But their offense runs it all the time. So when they have goal line, offense against defense in their practice, those players see the play. They got good penetration and stacked it up.
Ayo Oguni with the hit and was not fooled. Nick Dorka on for the field goal attempt from 22 yards out. 19 of 23 this season and splits the uprights here.
Kind of a good news, bad news drive for the Tribe, Roy, in that, yes, it was a very positive drive. By the same token, a field goal 3 times is the way all their drives ended last game. It's got to be more productive than that.
You're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Oldest rivalry in the South is what they call it. Going all the way back to the 19th century, and the Tribe trying to survive and advance. Reached the semifinals of the FCS playoffs as recently as 2009. They call it the Capital Cup. It's the 126th overall meeting. Amazing to think about it, Al, that first time that this matchup has ever occurred in postseason play.
Yeah, it is, as long as these two teams have been playing. But, you know, the conference champion gets an automatic bid, but the other team has to come in as an at-large. So that's what makes it tricky to get two teams from the same conference in.
Orca back on to boot this one away after the 11-play, 59-yard drive by William & Mary. From the 2. Chopped down at the 22 after a 20-yard return. 1st and 10 for the Spiders. Well, the first drive for Richmond, just 5 plays after this 50-yard return by David Jones. What a dynamic athlete, and they found it easy going.
Hey, he's a terrific time. This Richmond team spends a great deal of time on special teams, and it paid off, especially in the return game on that punt return. However, William & Mary got excellent coverage on that kickoff right there, and they've got the ball on the 22-yard line. That's a good starting point for this William & Mary defense.
30 yards in just 5 plays for the opening touchdown of the ball game. Green scored it, gets the carry here with some daylight across the 40, and there he goes. Jacoby Green brought down inside the 30 by DeAndre Houston Carson. 1st and 10 for the Spiders.
Richmond brought one of their tight ends in motion to the 2 receiver side. That means they had a 3-by-1 set. They were overloaded to that side. That's their signature outside stretch play. Green loves to run this. And the big yardage, Roy, came by the blocks by Brown and Diggs. These are 2 wide receivers who are dynamic catching threats, but they're not just pass catching specialists. They will work at blocking on the perimeter, and they were outstanding on that play.
A gain of 49 yards. Spiders in business. Play action. Into the flats, Reggie Diggs. Little shake and bake. Brought down to the 21.
3rd bootleg of the game, all of them completed, and every one of the throws very comfortably made by Lauletta. Now that was a really nice job as he got pulled up by the perimeter blitz. He stopped, set his feet so he's in perfect balance, and delivered it right on the target. This guy's got excellent pocket mechanics, which we can see more of as the game goes on.
What a 1-2 punch at receiver for Richmond this year between Brown and Diggs. Seth Fisher into the contest for the first time at running back. Been banged up with a high ankle sprain, and the senior gets the carry here. Straight ahead, needed to reach the 18 for 1st down yardage, and in fact he did.
Very different type back than Green. Green's smaller, faster, a little shiftier. Fisher's a much bigger back, and that's why he was in there on a short yardage situation. Okay, now we have an interesting situation here, Roy, in which Lauletta has come out of the game. Okay, when they bring their backup quarterback into the game, David Brodus, that usually means some type of quarterback run, almost like a Wildcat situation.
Redshirt junior from the Peach State. On the end around. Finally tackled inside the 10. Caleb Drake, the ball carrier.
Well, Caleb Drake is a wide receiver, but his main job during the course of the year has been to run that jet sweep. So they had 2 substitutions in there for a special play. Wide receiver and quarterback, and they ran the jet sweep. Now they've got their regular personnel back in. Here comes Lauletta. Here comes Brown and Diggs. Short yardage, low red zone. They're in a commanding position.
Approaching 3 minutes to play in a fast-moving first quarter. 7-3. Spiders leading William & Mary, but looking for more. Fisher. Met hard at the 5. Good enough for another 1st down on 2nd and short, however. The stop made by Mike Barta.
There's a lot of differences between Green and Fisher, Roy, but one thing they have in common, and it's a product of coaching and things that are emphasized, they are one-cut runners. And Fisher demonstrated that. He aimed at the initial point of attack. It wasn't there. Nothing fancy, no dancing around, just sharply cut up the field, and that's why they're on the 5-yard line.
Second round of the FCS playoffs. Survive and advance. First and goal. Green met hard. And the big hit by William and Mary results in a minimal gain. Lasquez, the hit. Second time we've called his name today.
Well, it's the same power play that they scored on the last time. Now, what I wouldn't be surprised to see, Roy, is a similar action, kind of a tight end looking run, but with play action pass in the flat.
Out of the power formation, Green. A patient run towards the end zone. Did he get there? No, he comes up short.
This is the third power play referred to in coaching circles as power Bob-O. That describes it's a power block, which means a double team, a kick out block, a Bob block by the fullback, and an O pull by the backside guard. Describing that, Roy, you can hear that puts a lot of numbers at the point of attack. They love the play with the ball inside the 1-yard line. I'm going to look for that play again.
Green checks out. Brodus back in at quarterback with the keeper and tackled short of the end zone. Luke Rhodes, first team All-CAA, and he shows you why right there.
Well, what Richmond did is they put Brodus in as a wildcat back, but then they just ran the same power play with the quarterback carrying the ball. And you're exactly right about Rhodes. He's fun to watch. I was watching video all day yesterday. Roy, he's active, he's aggressive, he's a tough-minded player. This is a significant play right here for both sides with the ball resting firmly on the 1-yard line.
You give it to Green, don't you? Use your workhorse.
When in doubt, think players first, then plays.
And indeed, he gets the call straight ahead. Jacoby Green, touchdown Richmond.
I really like the call by offensive coordinator Charlie Fisher. Agreed upon through Danny Rocco's headset. Okay, that is, we're a power running team. We trust our offensive line. They didn't try to get fancy. They ran the power 3 plays in a row. Sure, a couple of them didn't gain what they wanted. Hey, this is our play. We're going to run it.
Mano-a-mano, Jacoby Green with 2 touchdowns. And the Richmond sideline feeling this one here in the early going. Nine-play, 77-yard drive. Spiders 2 for 2. Tro's extra point is true. And our new score with 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Spiders out in front, 14-3, as the second round continues. Entertaining start back here in Richmond. A look at the current capital here in Virginia. 14-3 the score. The Spiders 11-point lead over William and Mary. Of course, the Tribe out of Williamsburg, Virginia, home of the original capital.
These are 2 very attractive schools, Roy. High academics, very nice places to go to school, but also clearly by the performance of these teams, schools that good football players really like to go to.
41 seconds remaining in our first quarter. Tro back on for the kickoff. Spiders 2 for 2. A couple of touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. From the 16. And good field position once again for William and Mary. As Micah Keels sets up the try. Well, from Williamsburg, Virginia, founded way back when, 1693. The enrollment just under 9,000. 10 appearances in the postseason. You see the record. And, of course, well, Thomas Jefferson, John Stewart, some of the famous alums. And for the Richmond Spiders, founded in the 1800s. Also in the CAA, 11-8 all-time in the postseason. 1 national championship, which we'll tell you about coming up later in the broadcast, back in 2008.
Roy, I'm pleased to say that You know, you cited William and Mary there in the founding of the school. I'm pleased to say that I was not in attendance at freshman orientation.
I didn't want to ask.
On that kickoff, having just pooch kicked it into the right sideline of William and Mary 2 times in a row, Richmond tried to change it up. They kicked it a little deeper and straight down the middle. Now the ball rests on the 40-yard line, kind of proving to the Richmond coaches, hey, this is why we were kicking the ball into the sideline to start with. That one didn't go too well.
Peter Yoder's been banged up this year, as we documented. An injured Tribe player now finally being helped to his feet. Eric Hensley, a backup tight end, actually leads the William and Mary tight ends in receptions this year on the second team, a transfer from UNC.
Right, a big thing about playoff football, where it's so even Steven matched up, is to be able to answer your opponent's score. William and Mary kind of did that with the field goal last time. Now that the margin is 11 points, it's really significant to see if they can answer once again.
Looking for that injury there, but it appears to be okay. So good news for Tribe fans. From the 40, play action Cluley. Pressure. Heaves it deep, looking for Dedman. In traffic and incomplete. Jordan in coverage, looking for the flag. He does not get it.
Coach Bobby Trott had a good book on the Tribe on that particular play. Bobby's the defensive coordinator and signal caller for the Tribe. He anticipated a play action pass, in that case a bootleg, brought pressure off the perimeter. He was unblocked. Cooley hit as he threw it. Nice call, creates a 2nd and long. Richmond is in control of the sticks right now.
The Spiders have been impressive defensively this year. Handoff to Abdul Sabur, far side, and on 2nd and 10 he'll pick up 8.
Sabor is the other part of this 2-man tandem. Had a little ankle issues, was questionable as to whether he was going to play today, but he certainly looked pretty good on that play. He has come off after just 1 carry, however.
And talking with Jimmy Laycock this week, he indicated that he may not get as many carries in this one on what will be the final play of a fast-moving first quarter. 3rd down and short coming up from the 48-yard line. What a beautiful afternoon for college football. The second round here in the FCS playoffs continues next. Start of the second quarter. Back here in Santa Robbins Stadium, Spiders out to an early 11-point lead and a big 3rd down coming up for the Tribe.
Close formation, wide receivers into the sideline, no width. Usually means a tight inside running play.
Anderson the give. He did across midfield for the first down, and he did. More power running by Kendall Anderson, the stop by Winston Craig.
Not a fancy run, Roy, but Kendall Anderson knew exactly what his team needed for this vital first down. Okay, vital in terms of keeping this drive going so they can answer the Richmond score.
How impressed are you, Al, with Kendall Anderson, already 50 yards at the start of the second quarter?
Hey, he's clearly come out to prove a point today. We've just got 2 wide receivers, a fullback in the backfield.
Kuzjak in motion. Anderson again. Lost his balance approaching the line. He'll pick up a yard. Andrew Clyde the hit.
After the Richmond defense had such a dominant performance against the William and Mary running game last time, there are bound to be a few new wrinkles, and that was one of them. Kind of a draw-looking play into the middle of the defense. Not a play they used in the last game. If that happens anymore with that particular play, that low yardage result, we probably won't see it too many more times. This is probably a pretty good opportunity here with the sticks where they are for play action pass.
Out of the offset eye, play action. Coach, you caught it down the field, and the reception made. Jack Armstrong, Oguni in coverage, but another first down for the Tribe on a big pitch and catch.
Oh, really a well-thrown ball by the quarterback. Play action pass, held the defense, There's the throw to the sideline, which is where throws are against this Richmond defense. There's not too much space in the middle of the field, but the spots are right on the sideline. When you throw the ball to the sideline, Roy, you don't throw it to a receiver. You throw it to a spot and let him run to it, and that was perfectly done.
Gain of 17 yards. Sabor, far side carry, crossing the 30. Down to the 26, Omar Howard, second in the conference in tackles per game at 10. Makes the tackle there.
Second down and 4. In 4-down territory. William & Mary is in good position on the sticks now. They got 3 more shots to make these 6 yards.
Injured player for the Spiders. You see the two-headed monster this season in the backfield between Sabor and Anderson. Timeout on the field. We'll step aside with him. Back with more after this. .11 lead for the Spiders back here in Richmond. DeAnthony Muse being tended to on the sidelines. Coach, a sophomore from Roanoke, Virginia. He's been out the last couple of weeks. Back in action today. Certainly not a good sign there. Under 13 to play in the first half. Second down for the Tribe. Sabor with some daylight, crosses the 25, and William & Mary starting to find a little bit of a push up front, much more than what we saw 2 weeks ago.
William & Mary is making a lot of yardage on cutback runs that start to one side of the formation. A straight ahead zone play. When it's clogged up on that side, these runners are running with a nice pace. They see the opening and they bring it to the backside.
Inside the red zone once again. William & Mary lost to Richmond 20-9, kept out of the end zone in their matchup 14 days ago. And a long drive in the first quarter that ended in a short field goal. Can they reach pay dirt here? Armstrong tiptoes. And as the pass is caught in bounds, it'll bring up second and short.
2 things involved with that, Roy. One, that was a handoff or quick throw choice for the quarterback, sometimes called a hot run. Okay, that is if there's soft coverage on the outside and you can make an easy 5 yards there. Don't hand it off, just throw it out there. Once again, we've seen the completion right on the sideline. So far, every William & Mary completion has been within 1 yard of the sideline.
Cooley threw 3 picks against Richmond 2 weeks ago. His decision making certainly will be under the microscope this afternoon. End around play brought down by Omar Howard. So second time the Tribe have gone to that one today, and the second time it has been snuffed out.
We gave some praise to Luke Rhodes, the middle linebacker for William & Mary, and justifiably so. But Omar Howard is a tackling machine in his own right, and the quarterback in the middle of that defense. He's a vital player. We're right back to the same 3rd and 2 situation that we had previously, in which Kendall Anderson knew where the sticks were and went straight ahead for the first down.
Tribe cannot get into a field goal kicking contest. Abdul Sabor straight ahead. Needed to reach the 8, and he got there. That'll be a first down. So first and goal coming up for William & Mary.
Smart running, and that's the way I would describe a lot of the yardage gained by William & Mary so far. They have had some success, Roy, at the point of attack, but on a lot of plays, the Richmond front has won at the point of attack, but it's these backside cuts that have accounted for a good deal of the William & Mary yardage, and these backside linebackers and safeties for Richmond have got to recognize that here.
Abdul Sabor in the backfield, first and goal. Deep handoff, spun around and driven down. Devin Cook to hit, the transfer from Pittsburgh. And Abdul Sabor with nowhere to run that time.
Omar Howard once again slowed down his downhill linebacking technique to stay a little bit more on the backside. And so he was a little bit a part of it. Look, a lot of adjustments have to be made on the sideline by coaches, Roy, but sometimes players have to adjust to the flow of the game as they're experiencing it. And Howard did that on that play.
Out of the shotgun. Cluley, end zone, dangerous pass, and it's picked off. We just talked about the decision making. And who else but David Jones? One man to beat. The quarterback. Touchdown, Spiders.
Terrific play in every respect by the Richmond defense, number one. Now, we just said, Roy, every pass that was completed had been right next to the sideline. That was the first inside throw. When you're low in the red zone, pass rushers know the throws are going to be fast and inside. They got their hands up, batted the ball, and David Jones, who intercepted the ball in a similar field position in the first game, was right there again and showed he really knows how to run with the ball. That was a beautifully run interception.
Coast to coast for David Jones. David Herlocker tipped it to Jones on the biggest play of the game.
That was a slant-flat combination. The inside receiver to the flat, the outside receiver coming in on a slant from left into the middle of the field. Jones just held his position, read the quarterback's eyes. This quarterback has a fairly slow delivery, which gives receivers a chance to jump the ball, and he did it.
One thing that I learned when I was in the hospital, my family never walked into my room with a frown on their face. They walked in with an attitude that they're going to make my day better by their presence. So remember, make a difference today for someone who is fighting for tomorrow.
Former Bills quarterback Jim Kelly. And a reminder, help us beat cancer. Log on to jimmyv.org. or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Outgrow Roy Philpott back here in Richmond as Jimmy V Week continues on the ESPN networks. And now it's a gut check time for William & Mary. 2 drives, first and goal, resulting in just 3 points, and 7 the other direction, Coach. They got to find a way to bounce back right now.
You're exactly right, Roy. Human nature, look, players are resilient. They want to compete, but obviously that was a deflating play. These William & Mary coaches got to rally their players. The message has got to be, that was a really good drive. It just ended with a bad play. Let's go back and put the same kind of drive together. By the same token, Richmond gave up a lot of yardage and not a lot of time on the sideline to discuss adjustments.
And done. As it go right through his fingertips into the end zone for the touchback. 1st and 10 for the Tribe from their 25.
Yeah, that was like 5 straight pooch kickoffs for Richmond against William & Mary in these 2 games. They changed it up right there with a low line drive. William & Mary not well positioned to make the catch. Ball in the end zone. Now it's on the 25-yard line. Now let's see if William & Mary can put together the same kind of drive using the same plays that they just did. And if Richmond has had enough time to address by the coaches with the players what adjustments have to be made.
On 1st down, William & Mary from the 25. And Kendall Anderson back on the field. And Cluley right back to work. Dumps it off to his running back. Hit hard and brought down. And Coach, this is Jimmy V Week. I know that you knew the late, great Jim Valvano from your coaching days at Wake Forest when he was at NC State. What a great human being Jimmy V was.
He was. He was a good friend, Roy. I was the head coach at Wake Forest, and Jimmy was the head coach in basketball at NC State. We would see each other in the respective locker rooms when our teams were playing away at the other team's site. He made some very nice gestures towards my son Michael with some memorabilia. Terrific guy.
Looking for Kuzjak. Overthrown. 3rd down and long coming up. Jordan in coverage.
These first two plays of this drive have been a deviation from how the previous drive was put together. And in each case, the Richmond coverage worked exactly as it's drawn up. Now, Richmond only rushed 4 on the last 3rd down nickel situation. They got significant pressure with a 3-man game playing their core coverage. I would expect much the same on this play.
On 3rd down, Cluley pressured. Anderson, the dump off across the 30 and well short of the 1st down. Justin Rubin in coverage finally brings him down, and a nice stop.
Very good pressure by only a 4-man rush. One of the things that the Richmond defense is based on, Roy, is keeping all the receivers in front of the defenders, whether it's long or short. That was a clear indication of that. They kept everybody in front of them, including the receiver, and then the coverage collapsed around them to create 4th and 4.
And David Jones waiting, lurking, after the interception return that reached pay dirt moments ago. A factory has been for the Spiders. And a call for the fair catch at his 24. Punt of 49 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Spiders. It was just 2 weeks ago that Richmond defeated William & Mary. And the Spiders offense getting the job done. Jacoby Green ran for 217. Kyle Laletta threw a pair of touchdown passes. As Green put Richmond on his back in a 20-9 victory. And Steve Cluley, well, we saw it just a few minutes ago. The pick 6 thrown in the end zone, another one right here. 3 interceptions on the afternoon as Richmond ran away from William & Mary by 11. And now you got to think that the Spiders in the heads of this Tribe team, given what happened just recently and also so far today. Laletta, play action. Hit and brought down behind the line. Sacked. Peyton Grider got there, one of the top pass rushers for the Tribe defense, and a big hit there, Coach.
Yeah, Grider is their really best pass rusher, and he's in a matchup with their left guard, Thomas Evans, who I think is maybe their best offensive lineman, and he won that one with a nice swim move.
Grider with 9 tackles for loss in his last 8 ball games. Delayed handoff, Green. Near side, crosses the 30, still on his feet, and plows his way ahead across the 35 for a 1st down.
Well, 2nd down and 10, the sticks would tell the defense perhaps this is a passing down. However, Danny Rocco's team, they don't like to have 2 incompletions in a row. So a 2nd down after an incompletion is often a run. It's a good call by Charlie Fisher in that he ran a draw play. Made the defense think pass, had the linebackers going backwards, created a hole in the defense. Green's a no-nonsense runner. He ran for the sticks.
Ran over Trey Reed, one of the quarterbacks for William & Mary that time at the very end. Out of the shotgun, Laletta looking deep. Green was wide open. Instead, he chooses to run it out of bounds for a short pickup. Give him 4 on the scamper.
4, but it could have been like a -8. So from the point in which he was under pressure, really it was a 12-yard positive play. William & Mary brought the inside and outside linebackers to the same side of the formation on a zone blitz. That created a free rusher, and that's what the pressure in the pocket came from. Laletta has nice pocket movement. He may not be a dangerous runner, but he's a good guy to elude and move in the pocket.
Rodas back in at quarterback on 2nd down. Officially a gain of 3 on the last play. And a flag on the field. Movement at the line. That's going to cost the Spiders 5.
As we've addressed, Roy, William & Mary has to come up with some different ideas than what they had in the previous game. And that was one of them right there, which caused the Richmond offensive line to flinch and get the procedure penalty. That is, they brought the weak safety blitz along with the strong side linebacker. You could see him coming running down full speed. Richmond flinched, and now it's 2nd down and 11.
First penalty of the afternoon, and our first brief conversation with Tom Stapleton, leading our veteran officiating crew. That'll make it 2nd and 12 with time winding down, more than halfway through our 2nd quarter. And the Tribe need to find a way to come up with a stop. Out of the power formation, Green stacked up and nowhere to run as he's brought down at the 35 by Peyton Grider once again.
Beautiful play by Peyton Grider. Just beat the block, had low pad level, used his hands, shucked the blocker and slid to the outside. He was waiting for Green on what is the William & Mary signature run, but it didn't gain anything there. In fact, it probably lost a few inches.
Al Groh, Roy Philpott here with you. Both teams seeking their first appearance in the quarterfinal round since 2009. With a win today, they'll get there.
First time in an empty, no back formation for the Spiders.
Lauletta with time, surveys, and picked off. Well, the Tribe got the play they were looking for on defense. Near side. And tackled short of the goal line. Ian Hayslip, the pick. And the near score out. What a play.
Zone coverage. He was sitting right in the spot that he belonged in. Lauletta kind of on a second look. Didn't see what he wanted initially. Not a really good decision, but a beautifully read play. Interception. Now they're in the type of scoring position that they've got to take advantage. We said earlier, as you just said, Roy, they got to get an unexpected point somehow. Kick return, interception. Vital that they get their first touchdown in the last 2 games against Richmond. Can't settle for a field goal right here.
Well, a good job after the fact by Kyle Lauletta to actually bring him down. And this is where William & Mary has struggled, not only today, but going back 14 days ago. Can they finally punch it in? Anderson. Touchdown Tribe, and there it is. What a response, first by the defense, now by the Tribe's offense.
Yeah, and what that has done, Roy, is that's evened out the points off interceptions. One run directly into the end zone, one scored one play later, so we're back to even. The scales are balanced on that one now. Another positive gain by the runner going someplace other than the initial point of attack. Previously, it's been a lot of cutbacks. That was on a bounce out where the play was stacked up. Good running by Anderson. This has got to be encouraging for the Tribe.
Touchdown number 16 this year for the junior running back. And we've got a ball game. Extra point up, it is good. And our new score with 4:58 remaining in the first half. William & Mary right back in it. 21-10. All set up by the pick. Hayslip brings it inside the 10. And then Kendall Anderson with the honors. William & Mary right back in this one here in Richmond. Now we got a ball game back in Richmond, 21-10. The Tribe trying to rally. As the second half awaits us. But perhaps some more fireworks here in Robins Stadium. Al Groh, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. Coach, we were talking there a few minutes ago that maybe Richmond's going to run away with this, saying William & Mary needed to make a play on defense. They found it. And then finally reaching pay dirt for the first time in nearly 7 quarters against these Spiders.
When you get evenly matched teams in playoff competition, Roy, maybe in the first round, one team can get up and run away from the other, but at this stage, they're evenly matched. It's too early in any game to put it away or to think you got it. You just got to keep playing all the way through and see what happens.
Drake and Collins back deep to receive the kick. From the 9. Nice stutter step crossing the 20. Gordon Collins, a sophomore from Stafford, Virginia. The 1st and 10 for the Spiders. Well, Jimmy Laycock was hard to believe. The long-tenured coach has been there in Williamsburg for 36 seasons. He's won 5 conference championships. Been in the postseason 10 times, Coach, and one of the all-time greats.
He's a terrific football coach in all aspects. He's run a great program. He's had a remarkable career. Roy, in this day and age, with the way things have changed, the different environment in which you coach, it's probably going to be a long time till we see somebody else coach for 36 years at the same place. But kudos to Jimmy for all he's done.
On first down, Lauletta under center. Fisher, the shoestring stop. Brought down short of the 25 by Hayslip again. Well, he's been everywhere here in this first half.
Well, he certainly has. He's a local player from Yorktown, Tab High School. Some great players come out of Tab. Terry Kirby, Chris Slade, 2 great players, both played in the NFL. Right next to the campus, it's a really nice job by Coach Laycock, keeping a player like that close to home onto their team.
And Terry Kirby, one of the most underrated backs in the history of the ACC. Size and speed to boot. Long career in the NFL. Fisher the handoff. Close to another first down for the Spiders. Hayslip again the stop.
These two plays have shown the difference between Fisher and Green. Nicely run by Fisher. Okay, real good job, but he doesn't have quite the same burst, the same juice that Green's got. Both of those plays by Green probably would have been a little bit longer gainer, but they're rotating these backs for the long run, okay, and that is to make sure Green is fresh in the fourth quarter.
And of course, Fisher back this week after missing the second half of the season with a high ankle sprain. On 3rd and 1, Fisher driven backwards, a late push, but short of first down yardage, and perhaps the ball came out late. Let's check our officiating crew. They'll say it's 4th down, but a big stop for William & Mary nonetheless.
Amongst many, Hayslip in right in the middle of that again. This has been a terrific 3 or 4 or 5 play series for him. I just talked about the difference in the backs, Roy. On that particular case, look, there's an adage we used to tell defensive players. All the backs run the same when there's no hole. It didn't make any difference who was carrying that ball.
Dedman calls for the fair catch at the 29. And this defense pumped up after getting the 3 and out. And now it's up to Steve Cluley and the Tribe offense. Suddenly, Coach, you can feel momentum shifting in this game quite drastically in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, this game is at a really interesting point right now. Okay, there's still an 11-point differential, but most of the positive occurrences here in the last 4 or 5 minutes have all been on William & Mary's side. Now, that's all well and good, but what they've got to do is come out here now and execute and put together another drive.
Steve Cluley back in, the junior from New Jersey. Abdul Sabor, nowhere to run, will lose a yard. They'll bring up 2nd down and long. Andrew Clyde with the hit.
William & Mary is going to try to change the pace here and go a little bit faster in order to gain an edge.
You like this?
Yeah, it's a good thing. They got to do something to stir things up.
Cluley, the screen, and Sabor could not bring it in. Pass was somewhat behind him. Ruled incomplete, no fumble. 3rd down and long with Trevor Jones in coverage.
Well, a very catchable ball in that particular case. The way this coverage collapses in the middle of the field, they left nothing for Cluley in the middle of the field. We saw his troubles throwing the ball in there the last time. Got it out to the sideline. It wasn't going to gain much, but it would have been better than 3rd and 11.
2 long drives resulting in just 3 points. The story thus far, as well as the pick 6 thrown by Cluley.
We're going to get another 4-man rush, probably with Games in the middle by the rushers and the classic Spider zone coverage.
Cluley flush, surveying, dumps it off incomplete, and just got rid of that one before losing massive yards. Providing the pressure was Devin Cook.
Well, they ran a double twist game inside, all 4 players exchanging alignments. That's given William & Mary difficulty in both games with their offensive linemen being able to react to these twist games. The pressure up the middle flushes them to the outside. There's good contain there. It's just really a well-called and well-executed defense.
Outstanding coverage as well, Coach, as you indicated. Cook, the transfer from Pittsburgh, handling his business quite well up front. And the Windmiller punt. As Jones signals for the fair catch. 46-yard kick, 1st and 10 for the Spiders. So Richmond's defense impressive in that last stand with just over 2 minutes remaining in our first half.
They really sensed the moment there. And to that punt, Roy, we've gotten a big league punting demonstration from Windmiller. High, excellent hang time, good location on the ball. He's really done a good job for the William & Mary defense in creating the longest possible field for them to have to defend.
And now I hear your special teams pride in that statement right there. You can never underestimate the power of a strong kicker, whether it's the punting game or place kicking. It can certainly be a weapon.
It certainly is. And obviously field position is changed by punts, and games are won so often at the end of the game with your field goal kicker. It's vital if you're going to win championships to have quality in those 2 spots.
Brodus back in at quarterback. Like to run him here. They'll do it again. Past the line of scrimmage up to the 30. A stop made by Luke Rhodes. And a quality pickup on first down.
Roy, the fact that Richmond won the coin toss and deferred means that they get the ball to start the second half. All right, so with the clock running down and then with a nice lead, the fact that Brodus was in there on the first play would indicate that they're going to try to play it fairly conservative here, run the clock back down, make sure William & Mary doesn't get the ball, and then come back and get it again to start the second half.
Valletta back in under center. Out of a power formation, Jacoby Green. Tripped up crossing the 35 by Zach Fetters.
That's their classic play. That's their core play. The outside zone stretch play. You may recognize that play, Roy, because when Mike Shanahan was the head coach in Denver and he had Terrell Davis as his back, they won the Super Bowl running that play. And currently Gary Kubiak with Denver is running that play, and he ran it so well in Houston with the great tailback they have there. So it's a classic play, and this team has really embraced it, and they've taken it as their identity play.
Green certainly has taken advantage. 80 yards on just 10 carries, plus the 2 touchdowns. Not even at halftime. Valletta in the flats. Brown's got it. Up to the 40, a short pickup. Houston Carson in coverage.
Houston's picked the pace up now because they gained that first down, got field position, ran the clock down. Now they're going to speed it up a little bit and just see what happens.
Approaching a minute to play. Valletta looking deep, looking for his tight end, Garrett Hudson, and he makes the catch, sliding out of bounds.
High-low combination, classic end of the half formation. A short receiver and a deep receiver, both heading to the sideline. So whoever catches it can get out of bounds. But that was all with the receiver right there. He really went down almost like fielding a ground ball.
It's a 19-yard pickup. Valletta will run it up to the 35. And the Spiders, with all 3 timeouts remaining, may want to consider using one here.
Oh, Danny Rocco called one immediately as soon as he hit the ground, Roy. Danny's on top of this situation as a game manager. Now, with the ball on the 35-yard line and with not a long-range kicker, there's 2 goals for Richmond with 2 timeouts left. One, with only 43 seconds, get another 15 yards and create a makeable field goal. Once they can get the ball to that stage and they know they have the field goal in range, then they can take a shot for the end zone. At least that's how I would try to put it right now. This is a key circumstance in a game where you can get a double score. That is, score at the end of the first half, get the ball to start the second half, and score again. That's a major reason to defer when you win the toss. That at least gives you a 50-50 chance to have this double scoring opportunity. So that being said, Roy, the key thing is make sure you get some type of score in this situation, and only needing 15 more yards, the field goal is the first step to that.
Well, the FCS quarterfinals continue next weekend on ESPN, ESPN2. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Fun time of year to be a college football fan. Valletta, pass is caught. Diggs down to the 10-yard line.
Player down. Yep, that'll stop the clock. Now, William & Mary went to a 2-deep zone. That's not something they commonly play. That was an easy pattern to cover, but because they're not as familiar with that as their customary 1-high zone, they just didn't play the coverage very well, and that left Diggs wide open down the sideline.
So Diggs and Brown, the 1-2 punch at wide receiver, both with 2 grabs so far in this first half.
Now, Richmond's got 2 timeouts left, Roy, and with the ball on the 10-yard line, now they're in excellent position to take a couple of shots for the end zone. They could even do something like call a draw play here and then call a timeout if it doesn't work.
It's Tyler Clater being helped off, 99 in white, a senior defensive tackle. So the injury's starting to mount up for the Tribe. And a 1st and goal. The ball spotted directly on top of the 10-yard line. Empty backfield. Aletta surveys. Flushed. Heavy pressure, finally gets rid of it at the last possible second. And that was Spencer Kleinreichart applying that pressure, coach, and 10 seconds off the clock.
Excellent coverage downfield. Nothing really open, but Lauletta wisely showing real maturity for only a redshirt sophomore quarterback. Gave the pattern plenty of time to develop. Got out of the pocket. As he was running, it was evident, Roy, with full intention simply to throw the ball away and save field position.
Winner of this game advances to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs.
Looks like two deep zone once again.
Green in the backfield, Lauletta calls his own number towards the end zone. Ball pops out. Touchdown.
Yep, there was that draw play in a situation where the defense is thinking, hey, they got to pass. They went empty formation. Lauletta may not be green as a runner, but he's got enough ability to run the ball when they got him spread out like that. That was really a slick call by head coach Danny Rocco.
Touchdown. The play is under further
now
review.
Let's check this replay to see when the football was ripped loose.
Well, this one's pretty close.
Now we're going to have to examine this one.
Well, I'm not going to try to speculate here, Roy, because my record of being in concurrence with replay officials is about the same as the Philadelphia 76ers record.
Now, you have to watch to where the knee is before the ball or as the ball crosses the plane, and it's got to be indisputable video evidence to be able to overturn this. The question is, do we see that here? As the ball pops out right as he crosses the goal line. It was eventually recovered in the back of the end zone by DeAndre Houston Carson.
Well, Roy, as I experienced many times, indisputable to whom?
Now, I understand that, but as he twists, it appeared as if the knee did not touch the turf. The question is, was the ball jarred loose before it crossed the plane? This is a big call in this football game.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, in this case, Roy, I could tell you were trying to pressure me into a speculation. But I think replay official Bill Laud made the correct call on that one.
One more look. Al, I watched that replay. It looks like the ball was jarred loose right before it crossed the plane of the goal line. But nonetheless, the touchdown stands. The extra point is good. And in just under 2 minutes, Richmond seizes control now by 18 points right before half.
Well, they certainly do. They did a really nice job. They started that drive out slowly, clearly with the intent just to not give the ball back to William Mary. 2 plays, they got a quick first down. The field position changed. The opportunity to run the clock down changed. They changed the pace of the offense, went no huddle, hit some good plays to get the ball down the field. William Mary helped them with a misplayed coverage and then a slick call. Offensive coordinator Charlie Fisher on the quarterback draw. Unexpected by the defense with only 30 seconds in the half. Now the lead is quite substantial here going into the half.
One more look on a bang-bang play right at the end zone.
Well, with this angle too, Roy, we're not seeing the diagonal plane,
right,
the invisible plane straight up from the goal line.
Right.
We're seeing it on an angle. Now, I'm not saying that the replay official had that liberty also, because we only have so many cameras here. Okay, but I'm sure that had something to do with making it inconclusive.
And again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, and the fact that that angle was not there perhaps prevented that altogether. Velasquez initiated that contact. But after all of that, it's an 18-point lead for the Spiders. Ball pops out initially here. Let's see if he stayed in bounds on the recovery. I believe the ruling is William Mary football.
Yeah, the ball appeared, from what we could see now, people in our line of vision, but it appeared to for William & Mary's advantage slowly creep across the line. For a while, it was just laying there, open for recovery by anybody.
That was the up back, Dan Schwab, a backup linebacker. Coming up at halftime, we'll have an FCS Round 2 weekend preview, plus Chad Tuff, the power of courage, and a story that is certainly going to be emotional. Highlights and stats, much more headed your way at halftime, which essentially begins right now. So what a first 2 quarters in the books for Richmond. The 18-point lead, seizing control right before intermission, Coach.
Yeah, they certainly did. They had the 3rd and out on defense after being scored upon, so that got the momentum back for their defense. Plus ball possession at the end of the half, exactly what they were angling for, to have that double possession opportunity for 2 scores in a row.
Jacoby Green reaches pay dirt twice, the pick 6 by David Jones, and our halftime score, the number 7 seed Richmond Spiders lead William & Mary 28-10. Halftime continues back here in Richmond. In the last 14 months of Chad Carr's all too brief life, strengthened a Michigan man's family, united a community, and reminded a football team and its coach about the power of courage. Gene Wojciechowski with the unforgettable story.
On November 14th, just outside Ann Arbor, Michigan, Christmas came early for 5-year-old Chad Carr. It had to.
Okay, what are we doing?
Opening present.
What's today? What is today?
Christmas.
Chad's been very excited about Christmas. And he had a great day. He loved it. Time is a very strange thing for us right now, because it feels like it creeps, but at the same time it feels like it flies by. And I don't even think anybody who has not been in our shoes can really understand that.
Chad Carr was born a Michigan man on September 25, 2010. Not that he had a choice. His dad Jason was a Michigan quarterback and met Tammy there. His grandfather Tom Curtis was an All-American there.
Number 25, Tom Curtis, who leads in Big Ten.
And his other grandfather, Lloyd Carr, won a national championship there.
You come out of the womb singing the fight song in this house. Chad's a little different, stubborn and tough for sure.
He's been that kid that I'm gonna wear green. I like Michigan State. But he does that to tease his brothers, to tease me.
Chad, the youngest of the Carr family, was like any other little boy growing up. And then in September 2014, he suddenly wasn't.
He had fallen and broken his nose. And as we walked out of the ER, he tripped and fell. And I just started thinking about how many times he had fallen recently.
The Carrs took Chad back to the hospital for tests. Those tests revealed he had an aggressive form of pediatric brain cancer called DIPG, diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. Only about 300 children per year worldwide are diagnosed with this inoperable cancer.
You think cancer and you think, okay, what do we need to do to fight this? What's the treatment? What's the protocol? And when they say there isn't any for this disease, that takes the wind out of you. And I remember I just fell on the floor. I sat on the floor in the hospital for a long time.
Doctors told the Carrs that Chad had about 9 months to live. As Chad's diagnosis became public, Michigan men everywhere asked how they could help.
Coach Harbaugh called us. He said, hey, why don't you bring the kids over? And he played with them for an hour and a half, and it was, it was amazing.
He has Tom Curtis blood coursing through his veins. He's got Lloyd Carr, Jason Carr, Tammy Carr, blood coursing through his veins. And you experience love for the little boy and his family.
The power of love wasn't confined to Ann Arbor. Rivalries didn't matter. A hashtag became an anthem.
I am Chad Tuff.
and a little boy became an inspiration.
Joining the game captains for the coin toss is Chad Carr. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Carr family.
But as time passed, Chad's condition slowly worsened.
The amazing thing to me is he has never said, not one time, "Dad, why can't I walk? When is my arm going to work again?" He showed us how to get through this.
By the time Michigan played Indiana on November 14th, Chad was in hospice care and in the thoughts of those Michigan players.
Our guys were moved, not just to dedicate the game to him or write Chad Tough on their helmets, but they're praying, and they're praying hard.
You saw towards the end of the game, Michigan football wasn't alone. Chad was right there with us.
Rudock with a pump fake, stop and go, and it is a pitch and catch for a touchdown. Michigan survives.
On November 21st, as the snow fell softly outside, and those Michigan men played at Penn State, a family stood tender watch. 2 days later, and 15 months after his cancer diagnosis, Chad Carr could fight no more. But the impact of the little Michigan man lives on.
We have this reach. This kid has this reach. And this disease needs that. So that hopefully, a few years from now, when a kid gets diagnosed, they say, he's got DIPG, and this is how we're going to treat it.
I need to know that a lot of good is coming out of that little life. And I believe that is happening. I truly do. And that's an amazing legacy. My 5-year-old son is changing the world.
An emotional story indeed. Back with much more, including a look at the brackets, the FCS, after this. Back here inside of Robins Stadium, halftime continues. Second round of the FCS playoffs between Richmond and William and Mary. And speaking of the playoffs, we take an updated look at the bracket. The winner of this one, Coach, going to face off with the winner of Western Illinois and Illinois State next weekend.
Well, Illinois is the top-seeded team on this side of the bracket. I had occasion to do them in the playoffs last year. Roy, they're a very strong physical team, multi-dimensional on offense and defense.
As the number 2 seed, that promises to be an extremely difficult matchup. The other half of the bracket looks like this. The number 1 seed, Jacksonville State Gamecocks. What a season it has been down in Alabama. And you see the rest of the games coming up later today. And 2, make that 3 actually, already in progress.
Well, there's a lot of offense, a lot of scoring on that side of the bracket. You'll have to try to outscore whoever comes from that side of the playoff bracket.
Always a fun time of year. Coming up next, we'll take a look at highlights and our first half stats back here in Richmond in just a few minutes. (28-10) as halftime continues back here in Richmond. The number 7 seed Spiders in front of William and Mary. Both teams out of the Colonial Athletic Association. Glad you could join us once again alongside of Coach Al Groh, Roy Philpott. Exciting first half. We saw a lot of big plays, but also more of the same with Richmond going back to its dominant ways, just like we saw 2 weeks ago.
You're right. A lot of big plays, a lot of hidden yardage created by kick returns and interceptions, and the Richmond third down defense allowed them to keep good control of ball movement in the first half.
Yeah, no question about it as we take a look at our first half highlights. It was the Spiders getting on the scoreboard first after this 50-yard punt return by David Jones. What a difference maker he is, Al.
He really is. There's certain guys, this doesn't sound like much, Roy, but there's certain guys the ball just finds them. And the ball finds this guy as a tackler, returner, and interceptor.
Jacoby Green scored 2 touchdowns, rushing for over 80 yards in the first half on just 11 carries. A difference maker indeed. And then again, David Jones, his 9th interception of the season. Coach, the ball has a way of finding him. This one he takes to the house.
Well, he showed why he's a punt returner too, because that was an excellent run. He knew how to get it in the end zone. Hayslip with the interception for William & Mary. Both critical interceptions came on balls thrown into the middle of the field.
Kendall Anderson from 7 yards out keeps the Tribe in it. And then late in the second quarter, Kyle Laletta calls his own number on a controversial play at the goal line. They ruled that a touchdown after it went to instant replay. And our halftime score, 28-10. Now the Spiders halfway home, trying to survive and advance to the quarterfinals. Can they do it? We'll find out. Back in Richmond, you're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual with Al Groh, Roy Philpott. Glad you could join us. Start of our second half. Richmond will receive the football first. That 18-point advantage, Coach. If you're William & Mary and Jimmy Laycock, what do you tell your team right now?
This thing isn't over yet. Anything can happen. We've seen it with kick returns and interceptions, but we've got to make it happen. Okay, we're going to take some chances here. We're probably going to have to open it up. Okay, be ready for the adjustment of pace, and we might go a little bit of no huddle fairly early to try to keep Richmond from making any defensive substitutions.
Collins and Drake back deep to receive. On a beautiful afternoon for college football. The winner of this game advances to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. That'll be next week. It's the winner of Western Illinois, Illinois State. And Dorcas kickoff. Be taken by Collins, 2 yards deep for the kneel down, and 1st and 10 from the 25 coming up. Now the first half stats tell the story. More of the same compared to what we saw 2 weeks ago. Nearly a 2-1 advantage for Richmond in terms of total yards. The turnovers obviously critical as well, Coach.
Yeah, the turnovers kind of balance each other out, but what doesn't show is a turnover, but had the same effect was the long punt return to get the first drive started. But you're exactly right, Roy. William & Mary has played the run better than the first game, but really not well enough to keep Richmond from putting drives together.
Spiders football as Jacoby Green checks back in, as well as a quarterback, redshirt sophomore Kyle Laletta. And expect a hefty dose of this in the second half, but Green nowhere to run, driven down by Luke Rhodes, who's had a pretty impressive start in this one.
Counterplay, Green started right with a little jab step, came back to his left, didn't fool Rhodes one bit. He went immediately to his right to meet Green in the hole with a classic middle linebacker tackle.
The Tribe did force 1 3-and-out in the first 2 quarters. They need another one here on 2nd and long. Fetters threatening a blitz, instead backs off. Green again far side. Same play, same result. Peyton Grider this time with the hit.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Trevor Andrews for William & Mary. He's clearly got the attention of his defensive guys. They beat blocks on those 2 plays right there. Really an excellent job to start this half. Now this 3rd down is critical for the Tribe to keep their momentum going.
Dominant at the line of scrimmage on these first 2 plays along that right side of the front 4.
William & Mary themselves, not a heavy blitz team. It looks like we're going to get zone coverage here.
The Tribe faithful making some noise. Laletta with time. Surveys, releases, and it's picked off. A dangerous throw and intercepted by Trey Reed.
Well, a really nice adjustment by the William & Mary defensive coaches and players in that that's the same pattern that they misplayed at the end of the first half, Roy, to take them, the Spiders down to the 10-yard line. In that particular case, it was the same high-low combination on the sideline. The corner sat low early and really baited Laletta into throwing a deeper throw. Smart play. Nice conversation at halftime to get that done. This is the break William & Mary needs. They got to take advantage of this.
Second turnover for the Spiders. Reed, a second-team all-conference performer. Cluley, play action with the pump fake. Armstrong, open and caught. Back-to-back plays, and the Tribe suddenly in business.
Yeah, that was really well called right there. It was a pump fake, double move on the outside. What they call bandit linebacker on the outside for Trevor Jones. Took the bait, jumped the short pump throw, threw it out there beautifully. Nice call by Kevin Rogers. Kevin Rogers is a veteran coordinator. Roy, time with the Minnesota Vikings, a number of colleges. He told them at halftime, when we get the ball back in plus territory, we're throwing that pump.
Now that's a gain of 29 yards. First and goal. Anderson back in the backfield. Delayed handoff. The stutter step, and fortunate to gain yardage that time as he stacked up, driven backwards. It was Herlocker, the initial hit.
This Richmond defense is a high-energy, pursue-the-ball defense. There was an initial opening right there, but it quickly closed as about 4 guys got there, Roy.
See the cornerback safety there. David Jones already with a long punt return and a pick six. A similar spot on the field.
Now we got 2 receivers close to each other up on the top.
He'll fake it to Dedman. Towards the end zone, pass is incomplete, looking for his running back, Kendall Anderson.
Well, they brought that receiver in motion, faked the jet sweep, and then came out on the misdirection bootleg. Once again, this Richmond defense, they keep everything in front of them. They played that quarters zone matchup coverage exactly as it needed to be.
These two schools separated by just 50 miles. Another quick look. Pass was behind Anderson. The close proximity. It's a lot of the William & Mary faithful here inside of Robins Stadium. They've been making some noise. Cluley with all kinds of time. Anderson keeps it alive and drugged down short of the 5-yard line.
Good recognition by the Richmond defense, Roy, in that, as you mentioned before the play, those 2 wide receivers to the right closely aligned to each other. When receivers get that close together or stacked, there's usually a switch release. One goes inside, one goes outside. Well recognized by the defenders. They made the switch, caused them to come down to the check through. Now we're right back where William & Mary has found themselves so often against Richmond, kicking a field goal rather than scoring a touchdown.
Officially a 24-yard attempt. Dork at 20 of 24 this season. Converted from 22 in the first quarter.
Richmond really survived 2 grievous mistakes there. Okay, that is the interception on a second look. Not a good choice by the quarterback, and getting beat on the pump fake.
After the pick by Reed, the Tribe cash in for 3, and they trail by 15. New life for William & Mary, trailing by 15. Just 2 possessions. 11:31 remaining in our third quarter with Al Groh, Roy Philpott. Winner of this one advances to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs next weekend. And they'll play the winner of Western Illinois, Illinois State. A game that's going to kick off in just a few minutes. So a lot at stake this afternoon on a brilliant fall Saturday here in Richmond. Diggs and Collins back deep to receive this Dorka kickoff. The Tribe defense looking either for one more stop or perhaps another turnover, and the Spiders have coughed it up twice today as kneel down by Collins. 1st and 10 from the 25 coming up.
William & Mary's gotten a really nice job so far today by both their kickers. Well, field goal kicker, kickoff man, and punter. All 3 of those guys have really stepped up. And significant here for William & Mary, Roy, is Tyler Plater is back on defense. He limped off at the end of the first half, and he's arguably their best defensive lineman.
It's a big possession right now for Richmond, trying to gain back control. Tribe obviously thinking otherwise. 8 in the box on 1st down. And play action to the fullback, Havoc. Near side, keeps the play alive. Finally lassoed down from behind on an awkward tackle. Ruled out at the 49-yard line, a gain of 24.
Nice play call to get that drive started. Richmond needed a positive play to take the momentum away from William & Mary. They got it on the 4th completion, Roy, in this game on a bootleg, in which you can see Lauletta throws it very comfortably, very calmly, just puts it right on the hands of the fullback slipping in the flat.
Zach Fetters with the tackle. Paddock fortunate not to be injured on that play. Here's Green. A hard collision at the 45, but pounces ahead for more yards.
Hey, that's pretty impressive by Jacoby Green. This is a guy with a lot of wiggle, with a lot of speed, but when he gets hemmed up, with these windows open, Roy, we could hear that crack up here. This is a physical player as well as a skillful player.
Luke Rhodes finally brought him down. 2nd and 2 coming up, and Green approaching 100 yards. First team All Colonial Athletic Association performer. We'll stay with the hot hand, and that'll be good enough for a first down. Needed 2, gained 4. The hit made by Trey Reed.
Off tackle power play, the same thing we referred to on a number of other occasions. Power Bobo, fullback kick out, backside guard lead through. Short yardage play principally for Richmond, even though that was only 2nd down, it was 2nd and 2. They considered it short yardage.
From the 39, again play action, Lauletta. The soft toss and the spin by Brown. Picks up 14 yards. Rhodes made the stop.
Same type of play action. Fake the run to the left, boot to the right, but a different receiver. Previously, it's been the fullback to the flat. That was the wide receiver coming across the field from left to right at a little bit deeper depth. Brian Brown is a product, Roy, of a school very close to here, Hermitage High School, which is historically one of the top programs in the state of Virginia in the Richmond area, coached by Patrick Kane. I was fortunate to benefit from the play of a number of players from that school, including the wide receiver coach here at Richmond, Fontel Mines.
And Green close to breaking that one open, picks up 5. You know, the secrets of Al Groh revealed right here on this broadcast. There's a lot of familiar faces.
Well, there are a lot of these players, over 80 players in this game from the state of Virginia. They've seen each other before. They saw each other 2 weeks ago. They not only know the schemes, but they know how they match up individually. Kind of like 2 boxers who have boxed before.
Out of the offset eye. Play action again, Lauletta. Incomplete. Now the comeback route not available as Dashawn Tibbs couldn't corral it.
Yeah, a little short possession type route. He had a lot of steam on that ball. That was his high hard one. That was a very catchable ball right there.
Well, Danny Rocco in his 4th season trying to survive in advance of the quarterfinals. Big 3rd down coming up right here. Tribe showing pressure. Lauletta straight ahead, and a crafty call picks up the first down. Fetters brought him down, but not before a gain of 7.
Hey, you used a good word there, Roy. It was a crafty call, and it came at the right time because for the first time on 3rd down in this game, William & Mary went to a straight man-for-man defense. So all the linebackers and all the safeties ran out of the middle of the field to cover their man. There was nobody beyond the initial front line to stop him from making the first down.
Jacoby Green 1 yard short of 100 this afternoon. He's already scored twice. A bubble screen. And nowhere to run after a short pickup. Zach Fetters sniffed that one out.
As popular as the bubble screen is, it is not really a significant factor in the Richmond offense. First time we've seen it today. William & Mary, after a season-long of football, they recognize it. Excellent pursuit by the William & Mary defense to the perimeter.
It's a 2-yard gain by Tyler Wilkins, a backup wide receiver. This Richmond offense operating like a surgeon today. Methodical at times, quick at others. On second and long. Loletta again with a running lane down to the 5 and close to another first down. In fact, they'll give it to him. First and goal coming up for the Spiders.
Yeah, that's the third positive run on these called quarterback draws. 3 times now for that in the game, and that's not a play that Richmond showed at all in the first meeting of these two teams.
And now one of the few times today we've called the name of DeAndre Houston Carson, who made the hit. He's been invited to the Senior Bowl from William & Mary, but has been kept in check by a very physical Richmond offense so far. Green. Now over 100 yards, pushed backwards after a short pickup. Velasquez again with the tackle. Well, he's been active so far.
Yeah, every tackle he's made so far, too, Roy, they've been heavyweight tackles. Okay, he's really hammered them when he's gotten into the hole. A lot of substitution here for Richmond. They're putting a whole slew of more wide receivers in the game, plus their best pass receiving tight end.
Jacoby Green has a nose for the end zone. So if they go back to the stretch, play action. Loletta. Touchdown, Richmond. Well, a gutsy run by the quarterback. And it reaches pay dirt once again.
That drive was highlighted by getting the quarterback out of the pocket after run fakes. In that particular case, he knew where the goal line was. He learned his lesson, Roy, after that touchdown at the end of the half. He had that ball high and tight to his pads. There was no chance that that one was going to be contested.
And now you love that as a coach. The fundamentals of the game obviously being taught and being executed, more importantly, at a high level from one half to the next.
In all phases, Roy, this Richmond team is a fundamentally sound team. They do all the things the right way, and they really answered that. That's a competitive nature that a team needs to advance in the playoffs. You have a bad start, you get scored on, you come back and answer it right away.
Throw on for the extra point. Kick is up. It is good. And our new score, 6:10 remaining in the third quarter, 35-13. The Spiders back in control, playing here at home. Now the 7th rushing touchdown of the season on the board for Kyle Loletta, the redshirt sophomore quarterback from Pennsylvania. And Richmond back in control with a 22-point lead. Al Groh, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. Second round of the FCS football playoffs here at Robins Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Boy, a touch of winter in the air here in the Richmond area, but by most accounts it has been a Chamber of Commerce weekend and an important weekend in college football as well, not only at this level but conference championship games being played in the FBS ranks as well. Pooch kick fielded at the 23 and across the 30, nowhere to run. First and 10 coming up for the Tribe. Well, that last drive, 11 plays, 75 yards, and Kyle Loletta, a couple of crafty calls, Coach, finding the end zone and tucking that football, securing it tightly in a couple of critical plays.
Kyle, that's an impressive series for Kyle, Roy, because after a really bad play on the previous series, bad read, bad throw, bad interception, he showed great poise, and he showed his teammates the confidence that he had in himself, kind of making a statement, look, hey, I'm the guy that can take you a long ways.
Cluley back on the field. Looking deep, dumps it off, Abdul Sabur. And sandwiched out of bounds, crossing the 35, Omar Howard with the initial contact. Now Loletta, you throw a pick six or you throw an interception that's returned close to the end zone. That can be something that's difficult to overcome, and trying to maintain your confidence through all of that.
Some quarterbacks have a glass jaw. They can't bounce back from that. Okay, other ones show that they can shake it off, and that's one of the ways you really find out, okay, what the level of your quarterback is, and that was impressive in what he did.
On second down, Cluley throws a dart, incomplete. Looking for Armstrong. That was Jordan in coverage.
Similar thinking with the play call by offensive coordinator Kevin Rogers. Get the quarterback out of the pocket, run the same type of bootleg that was successful for Richmond. However, he had a lot more pressure in his face than Lauletta did. It was a difficult throw. He was really just hoping that he could squeeze it in there.
A big play here on 3rd and 4.
Now, we've seen a lot of zone coverage from Richmond in these circumstances. If they're going to change up to any man-for-man, this would be the time for it. Here comes the man-for-man.
Cluley heaves it downfield. Armstrong incomplete and picked off. Jeriel Jordan, the sophomore. What a grab in traffic.
Well, that was really a nice changeup. That's the first time that Richmond went to a straight man-for-man on 3rd down. Now, of course, the shorter 3rd down yardage allowed them to feel comfortable in doing that, but that meant Jordan was step for step with the receiver down the field. The receiver didn't have enough speed, Roy, to separate from him, and so when Cawley threw the ball up there was really no space to get it in, but that was a really good changeup that fooled the quarterback who had to throw the ball under pressure.
Well, he got drilled right as he released that football as well. The pressure coming down hard by Ben Schreider. Perhaps assisting on the pick. And for Jordan, that's his first interception this season. Pressure on 1st down. Jacoby Green straight ahead. Over 100 yards now with a couple of touchdowns. Another workmanlike performance.
Another zone run to Green. He knows how to go straight downhill with the ball. He's your classic north-south runner. William and Mary brought both inside linebackers. Roy, the pressure they ran is a pressure made famous by the Pittsburgh Steelers, now copied by many, many teams very effectively, called cross dog. That is, they bring both inside linebackers. They cross them as they hit the 2 gaps between the center and the 2 guards. But there was a crease in there, and that created the opening for Green.
DeAndre Houston Carson, the tri-player on the turf. We'll give you an update when we return. And you're looking at DeAndre Houston Carson, the co-defensive player of the year in the CAA. He's been invited to the Senior Bowl. Likely to play at the next levels. Jacoby Green takes the handoff and spins his way for a gain of 2, but Houston Carson, this guy's been all over the place this season in this conference. One of the main reasons why the Tribe defense has been as good as it has been.
He's a very good player, Roy. You're right, but this is not unusual for William and Mary football. Since Jimmy Laycock has been there, a large number of players have gone to the NFL, and right now Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, and Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator of the undefeated Panthers, are both William and Mary products.
Dump off. Needed 1.5 yards. He'll gain 2. Trey Reed made the stop, but not before the drive continues. Another 1st down.
Another one of those fakes to the left, roll out to the right on the bootleg, throw it to Pavlik in the flat. Pavlik hasn't had this much fun all season long. Roy, really, with Diggs and Brown, they've been the principal targets, but in terms of total receptions, he's the leading receiver today, almost all on the same pattern off the play action.
Coach, you mentioned Mike Tomlin. Marv Levy also was the head coach here in the late 60s. Lou Holtz, as late as 1971.
First charge, timeout, Richmond.
Yep,
30-second timeout.
You're exactly right, Roy. There's a deep football tradition at both of these schools.
Timeout called by the Spiders. 2 remaining, 4 minutes to play here in our 3rd quarter. And Coach, we'd be remiss if we didn't tell all of our viewers out there. There's a lot of connections to Al Groh here in the booth. In this game, the coaching tree has expanded.
Well, I'm proud to be connected to these guys, Roy. These are all men who've gone on to very, very successful coaching careers, all of whom I had the benefit and the pleasure of either coaching or coaching with. And it's been fun to visit with them and to see their success.
Coach is up here calling plays, and he knows what's coming.
Well, myself and some of these guys, we've been in the same meeting room for quite a few hours. So, yeah, there's a commonality of thought in some circumstances.
Bobby Trott doing a tremendous job at defensive coordinator, and, of course, Danny Rocco in his 4th season. Back-to-back trips now in the postseason. Defeated Morgan State here last year in the 1st round. Could not advance past Coastal Carolina. They go deeper this year. Jacoby Green gain of 3 yards. The hit made by Hayslip.
The Tribe brought pressure off the slot. They brought the slot defender off the edge. He came into the backfield, met the blocker in the backfield, created a big pile up there, kind of something like I hope you don't find out there on 64 as you hurry up to the airport, Roy.
Now it makes 2 of us. On 2nd down, Diggs, near side, close to midfield. Another first down for the Spiders.
And another very poised decision and throw by Lauletta, showing that he has completely bounced back, had total amnesia on that really poor throw he made to start the half.
Quarterback's perspective right here. Lauletta's got good arm strength, and it's been accurate minus 2 throws today.
He does. He's got very good pocket mechanics. What do I mean by that, Roy? He gets his feet underneath his pads, so he's in good balance. He lets the ball go with his elbow above his shoulders. Those are 2 prime things to be a consistently accurate passer.
Jacoby Green, the 4-yard pickup. We've seen Lauletta. We've also seen the backup David Broadus today.
That was the zone play, the core most consistently called running play, and that play was run over the left side behind left tackle Nick Richer, whose dad was a terrific player for NC State and the Buffalo Bills, and he's got the size, Roy, at 6'6", 304. He's probably going to get his chance to continue his football career also. But he'd like to continue it next week against the winner of the Illinois State-Western Illinois game.
On 2nd down, heaves it downfield, caught at the 25. Ryan Brown makes the grab, and now the all-time leading receiver in a single season in Richmond history.
Yeah, the well-thrown corner route. Brown was lined up on the right, but fairly close to the formation, which meant there was a lot of space between him and the sideline to get leverage on the corner. He made a little nod to the post, got the corner to turn his feet that way, and so he had a big advantage in running underneath the ball as he headed to the sideline.
Brown now over 1,200 yards receiving this year. His 4th grab of the afternoon, and another big play for the Spiders offense, calling a gain of 21. Green. Dragged down from behind by Rhodes. Otherwise, that's another touchdown.
Green demonstrated on that play the little extra spurt or the little extra juice he's got that Fisher doesn't have, that got him into the 2nd level of the defense. And on the other side of the ball, as we have seen consistently, this Rhodes is all over the field as a middle linebacker.
2nd and 2. Green leading the league. Colonial Athletic Association in rushing yards per contest, just under 120. That number going up today. Another carry here. Jacoby Green takes on a defender, and it's 1st and goal for the Spiders. Now the good news is DeAndre Houston Carson checks back in. The bad news is, Coach, he went on a ride that time, courtesy of Jacoby Green.
As the 3rd quarter ends, Roy, the Richmond running plays now are approaching 40 runs in the game. And as effective as they were early in the game, when you stick with the running game, when as physical as Richmond is, it takes its collective toll on the defense. And that appears to be what's happening on this drive.
Brown and Green continue to have the hot hand for the Spiders. And if this score holds up, they're going to need some more of that next week. Green spins his way down to the 2. What should be the final play of a fast-moving 3rd quarter. The winner of this one will face off with the winner of Western Illinois and Illinois State. That game currently airing on ESPN3 as well.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
And right now it appears the Richmond Spiders in firm control of their postseason destiny. They lead it by 22. And the wonderful season continues for Danny Rocco and company. A big performance by Jacoby Green. Kyle Lauletta also in the mix, and the Spiders in control. Gorgeous afternoon in Richmond. You're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Start of the fourth quarter. Spiders with possession of the football, second down and goal. Aletta Green comes up short.
Here come the big people for the goal line lineup for the Spiders. They're now their favorite play in this circumstance, which has scored for them a couple times already today, Roy, is the off-tackle power play. Richmond goes counters with their 5-3 goal line defense.
Out of the I formation, Jacoby Green, why not? Touchdown.
And there it was. The signature goal line play for the Spiders been tremendously effective today. The off-tackle power play.
Third touchdown of the ball game for Jacoby Green, now over 140 yards rushing.
A big day, an impressive day for him. And, you know, the body language on each sideline is telling, Roy. Looking down there, you can see there's a sense of resignation on the part of the William & Mary players. And across on the other sideline, there's a real sense of anticipation by the Spiders that they're going to be moving on.
18th rushing touchdown of the season for Jacoby Green. And it's all Spiders here in Richmond. Well, a beautiful shot of the campus here at the University of Richmond. The 7-seed Spiders running away from William & Mary. 42-13 the score with Al Groh. Roy Philpott, glad you could join us this afternoon. Another pooch kick fielded by the up back of the 25. And nowhere to run once again. And of course the Spiders trying to duplicate their success from 7 years ago playing against the Grizz in Chattanooga. Quarterback Eric Ward threw for one touchdown, caught another. And running back Josh Vaughn ran for a $162 and another touchdown as Richmond won its lone national championship on the gridiron in school history. Last score there, 24-7, the final. Mike London hoisting the national championship trophy, and what a performance it was. Spiders trying to get back to that this season. We'll see if they can do it. After a magnificent run by North Dakota State. Hit on the throw and picked off. Intercepted by Oguni.
Tremendous pressure once again from simply a four-man rush. In this particular case, unfortunately, Steve Cluley is in real discomfort down on the field. Hit, ball fluttered in the air, kind of looked like a Texas leader there, Roy, but Richmond has been very impressive in the pressure that they've kept on the quarterback all game long. There haven't been very many clean, easy throws for Steve Cluley.
He's been harassed pretty much the entire afternoon, and what a grab by Ayo Oguni, his fourth pick of the season.
This defensive line, prepared by defensive line coach Lee Vern Beelan, and the overall secondary approach by defensive coordinator Bobby Trott has been right on everything that William & Mary has done today. But any quarterback has trouble throwing the ball when he's under the type of pressure that this defensive line has put on.
Chad Wiggins applied the hit. Cluley still on the turf, and back with more after this. Moments ago, Steve Cluley helped off the turf, the junior quarterback from New Jersey. A nice standing ovation from the Richmond faithful. Also, the Tribe fans have made the quick 50-mile trip from Williamsburg.
Steve has had a terrific team, terrific season, Roy, directing his team to 9 wins this season.
David Broadus now the new quarterback for the Spiders, and to no surprise, scampers ahead for a gain of 5, brought down by Grider. This is what he does best, Coach. We've seen him play now in 7 games this year, and they utilize his quick feet more than anything else.
He performs as much as a tailback as he does as a quarterback. The added feature they have with him as a run-pass option, mostly a run possibility. You'll see a lot of wide receiver motion in which they fake the jet sweep, causes some misdirection for the defense to have to sort through.
You got to think Richmond's thinking about ground and pound. As Broaddus takes it straight ahead, a gain of a yard. Right at midfield, Grider again the hit. Richmond content right now, coach, to just simply bleed some clock.
The two critical components to a formula for putting the game away, and we're seeing them in effect here, Roy, is rush the passer and run the ball with authority. We just saw the effect of rushing the passer on the previous interception, and now Richmond is trying to put together a drive, principally using Broaddus as a quarterback slash runner.
Collins in at running back. Broaddus keeps the drive alive, spins his way for first down yardage. Houston Carson the hit, but not before. He extends the possession at least another 4 plays.
Roy, the key role that Broaddus is fulfilling here as a pass threat but primary runner is that's allowing Richmond to sit Green and Fisher down a little bit to get them ready for next week. Okay, now the pace has changed a little bit in that Lauletta has come back in the game, but neither Green nor Fisher have returned, and they probably will not.
Collins a deep handoff and draggling defenders past the 40. Houston Carson with the tackle. So, Coach, you obviously coached a number of years in college and the NFL. You're used to playoff football. Do you take your foot off the gas this late in the game, knowing that you likely have the outcome the way that you want it, but knowing also that you've got an opponent waiting next week in the same survive and advance mode that you are?
You never take your foot off the gas, Roy. Now, you may adapt to the circumstances. That is, Richmond wants to run the ball to keep the game moving. You may make a few substitutions, but there's no such thing on championship games of what I call selective competing. Okay, that is, some players or some teams fall into the trap of selecting what days or what plays they really want to compete on. Within your culture, you strike a mentality that we compete every day, whether it's Wednesday, Saturday, we compete on every play, and when you're in the game, that's what's expected of you. Richmond now, with about their 5th straight run for their 2nd or 3rd first down, is putting into effect what was just discussed, that component of winning in the 4th quarter, running the ball with authority.
Collins again near side with a stiff arm and tap dances his way down the sideline for another quality pickup. Jacoby Green rushed for 217 the last time these teams squared off just 2 weeks ago. Over 140 yards today, Al. 3 touchdowns as well. Jacoby Green, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida, having his way with the Tribe defense.
He's had a great day, and a few years ago there were 2 terrific running backs come out of Jacksonville, Florida. One of them, Jacoby Green, is making a name for himself. The other one, Derrick Henry at Alabama, already has quite a big name for himself.
Perhaps the front runner to win the Heisman Trophy this year for the massive running back from Tuscaloosa. Jacoby Green not too shabby himself. Here's Collins. Met at the 25. A flag on the field. It came in late in the secondary. It's been a relatively clean game.
It's been fun to see a game where we seldom see that yellow
personal foul
flag out there on
shot
the field.
Block. Offense number 73 and 58. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's Caleb High and Thomas Evans, the guards for the Spiders.
Well, this is not a low block team, but sometimes these things happen inadvertently with a zone scheme. Before one blocker can get off the block, the second blocker engages him, and that's what happened on this particular play. It's a player safety issue, and it's a good rule change that came into effect a few years ago. A lot of these rule changes, Roy, have been in to protect offensive players. This is a dangerous play for defensive players, and it's a good rule.
That offensive line paving the way for nearly 400 total yards. The Spiders offense approaching 10 minutes of play in the 4th.
Every one of these plays in the 4th period, except for one, the interception, has been run by Richmond. I would suspect that they're going to try to keep the clock running on most of these plays, even at 2nd and 17.
now screen. It was a dangerous toss. Will McCombs, the intended target.
Yeah, that little short throw was intended to keep the clock running. One of the few really errant throws by Lauletta today.
The FCS quarterfinals continue next weekend on ESPN and ESPN2. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. So after the incomplete pass, the clock stops momentarily. 3rd and long.
Quarterback under center, tailback directly behind him would indicate this is going to be a run. Probably a run to the left.
Coach dials it up perfectly. Collins will cut it back. Dragged down at the 35-yard line. And well short of first down yardage. Now an interesting call here, Coach. 4th down and long from the 35 with time winding down, a significant lead. What do you do here?
Oh, this is a very easy call for Danny Rocco. Punt the ball, play field position. Plus, this is not a comfortable field goal for his field goal kicker.
For the first time today, we've seen Hilkowski try to pooch one down. Stops beautifully at the 3. And it'll be down there.
You know, plus that's the kind of play that in close games wins games, Roy. So that really did give Richmond the opportunity to practice that plus territory pooch punt. So now when that comes up in next week's game, their punter will have the confidence in having done it the last time he was called upon.
Pavic assisting the Richmond special teams, a major factor. But of course, the winner of this one will face off with the winner of Illinois State, Western Illinois. And right now, Illinois State, the 2 seed, with an early 4-point advantage.
Here's a tough position for William & Mary. Down 42-13, the ball on the 3-yard line, and backup quarterback. They've gone to 2 tight ends. They're just going to try to slam it out of the end zone.
Spiders as the 7 seed, hoping to play a home game next week. They will need Illinois State to fall to have a chance of that happening. Abdul Sabur up to the 9-yard line on that carry.
But against the Richmond backup defense, a lot of new numbers out there right now. That cutback run effective once again for William & Mary. These defenders haven't seen that run other than from the sideline. So they're going to have to adapt their game and their reads to that.
Tommy McKee, the new quarterback for the Tribe after Cluley went out. And they'll set up the screen. Abdul Sabur. The nice move. And crosses the 30 up to the 33-yard line. So a gain of 22 yards with a screen pass.
Sabur has had a very good season for the Tribe. Roy, he's a senior. This is his last game. Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to have fun running the ball, knowing this might be his last football game.
Anderson.
Roy, this Richmond defense put together by Bobby Trott and Danny Rocco is an interesting defense. Okay, that is, they play with 3-4 personnel, but they play an even 4-3 adjustable front with a lot of safety support. And they've done a very creative job of working around some personnel injuries and disadvantages to be a 2-gap team with quarter zone principles and make it very interchangeable.
Kaskin the grab, the second leading receiver for William & Mary. There's a massive tight end out of Rockville, Maryland. There you see Steve Cluley. Threw 3 picks the last time these two teams clashed 2 weeks ago, and throws 3 more here this afternoon. And Coach, you got to think that he'll enter the offseason looking back on these 2 games in particular to try to improve his game and perhaps his decision making.
Well, not only Cluley, but the whole program, Roy, most likely is going to look at this as we've had a really good season. But if we want to go further in these FCS playoffs, the hurdle for us right now is the last game of next season. Okay, that is against Richmond, who's getting ready to win their 5th straight game against the Tribe. What do we have to do within our program to beat these guys, or else we're going to hit the same roadblock at the same time every year?
You saw those rushing yards. Not where they need to be this afternoon. McKee Redshirt freshman from Virginia Beach floats it. Abdul Sabor. And the drive stays alive on a nice pitch and catch.
Yeah, real nice job by McKee staying active, then finding Sabor. He dropped one earlier, but showed sure hands on that particular play.
Well, the clock starts again after the first down. Under 7 to play. McKee with time. Loses the football. It bounced out of there, and the Spiders recover. Well, ball security has been a major issue in this football game. McKee will learn his lesson the hard way.
Yeah, what will be taught to him is, as a quarterback, when you scramble up the middle, you're not a quarterback anymore. You're a tailback. You better get that ball high and tight like a true runner would.
Booker the recovery. 1st and 10 for the Spiders when we return. You're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Two long-standing rivals meeting once again for the first time ever in the postseason. Danny Rocco and company trying to make it 5-0 since he took over some 4 seasons ago. One of the longest rivalries in all of college football. You see in the FCS ranks 125. Different times these teams have tangled before today, so make it $126, starting all the way back in 1898. After the turnover, brought us back in at quarterback, and the handoff straight ahead. So, Coach, this will be an impressive victory for Richmond, and a team that I believe, having seen the Spiders a year ago in this very same venue, may be better positioned for advancement this season. As a 7 seed to the quarterfinal round, they'll go next week.
You're right about that, Roy. That's the way the Richmond coaches feel. And look, they're not looking past next Saturday. But by the same token, Coach Rocco feels that this team really has gotten to this point maybe a year ahead of when he thought they might. So if it looks good for right now, it certainly is very inviting and very appealing for what the future can bring.
Caleb Drake in motion, gets the handoff, and on the end around, close to midfield, brought down by Luke Rhodes. Impressive.
Caleb Drake, I'm sorry, that's his second jet sweep end around type play today, and as we mentioned earlier, he's the principal wide receiver who gets the ball on these jet sweeps.
I was going to say as well, impressive with what Richmond has done this season, losing their offensive play caller from a year ago. Brandon Streeter took a job at Clemson for the #1 ranked Tigers as a new quarterbacks coach. Charlie Fisher's done a remarkable job this year.
Well, one of the big changes in their offense, although we will not see it on this play, with Broadus back in the shotgun in the back next to him, has been a majority of the plays are run with the quarterback under center and the tailback coming downhill. And the Richmond coaches seem to feel that that's really been a big advantage for Jacoby Green, that he runs best when he's set behind the quarterback, either in the I formation or as a single back. To go on to that play that we just saw, Roy, once again, that was Broadus really being the tailback. When we see Broadus under center, which we've only seen 2 times, he's handing the ball to the tailback. When we see the ball snapped directly to him in the shotgun, in effect, he's operating as the tailback.
Gain of 26 yards. Denzel Dykes with the tackle. You see the rushing yards. A significant advantage for the Spiders, almost 3-1. Broadus, a punishing run down to the 15.
Well, at 6'4", 227 pounds, he is the most physically imposing runner that they have. We're getting pretty clear evidence of that right now.
Injured player for the Tribe.
But it's really fun, Roy, and enjoyable to see a team run the ball with power. I love to see it the way that Richmond is in this era of spread offense, zone read plays.
Injured Tribe player, back with more after this. Ian Hayslip helped off the field moments ago. That's the good news. The bad news for Tribe fans, 42-13, the deficit. Under 5 minutes of play here in the fourth quarter. Outgrow Roy Philpott. David Broadus back under center. And Collins, the deep handoff, near side, out of bounds.
Well, Pavlik has had an excellent game at fullback, but TJ Moon is getting his opportunity to play. And he's been watching Pavlik because he really cleared the way off the left side on that sweep play. He's also showing some leadership because there was a little pushing and shoving, and he forcefully got his teammate out of the way before he could do anything to mar this excellent victory for the Spiders today.
And Coach, we've seen some chippiness the last couple of plays. Certainly would like to see both sides keep it classy. Two big-time rivals. We call it the oldest rivalry in the South.
Second charge timeout, Richmond. 30-second timeout.
One remaining for the Spiders. 4:07 left. Well, these two teams met just 2 weeks ago, and Richmond was victorious that afternoon 20-9. You see the all-time series. The Tribe with a scant lead. Just 2 more wins than their counterparts from 50 miles away. First meeting way back in 1898. Won by Richmond 15-0.
Must have kicked 5 field goals.
I think a touchdown was worth 5 points back then, Coach.
I think that ball probably looked either like a basketball or a rugby ball back in those times. One thing we know, Roy, at that point there were no forward passes.
No. And there certainly was no instant replay, as we've seen here, at least on one occasion today.
Well, fortunately for us, there probably were not at that time any play-by-play or analysts, so the game has really evolved to our advantage.
Fun afternoon here in Richmond, especially for the Spiders faithful, as Collins dances his way close to another first down. He'll come up a few inches short. Now under 4 minutes to play here inside of Robins Stadium. Beautiful facility here. We've mentioned it several times, the gorgeous afternoon that this has become, but Robins Stadium, brand spanking new, and it just has a wonderful feel to it when you drive upon it for the first time.
Yes, it certainly does. They've got very, very nice facilities here. The baseball field is excellent. The Robins Center is a great arena for basketball. Of course, in the A-10, they've had excellent athletic success. This is a high-end academic school, Roy, but it's also a school that prizes its athletic success.
And meshing those two, not always easy. They're doing it at a high level here in Richmond. Need to get to the 5 for first down yardage. He's going to be very close. Rhodes made the hits. And in fact, it will be a first down.
Another impressive defensive play by Luke Rhodes. Moved for his middle linebacker position out to his left. Made a real wrap-up tackle. As little yardage as was necessary to make a first down. They got barely enough to do that. This Luke Rhodes has gone from start to finish as a very intense, high-energy competitor. I'm impressed with this player here today.
Down to the 3. Houston Carson with the tackle. And second and goal coming up under 3 minutes to play. It's an updated look at the bracket. The winner of this one, of course, Richmond, is going to square off with the winner of Illinois State, Western Illinois. That game currently taking place. And if you're a fan of the Spiders, obviously rooting against Illinois State as the 2 seed. Have a chance to host in the quarterfinals next weekend. Of course, all those games on the ESPN networks. That's one half of the bracket. And we'll show you the other half in just a minute.
Roy, one of the things that's different about playoff competition, different than the regular season, obviously regular season, you get your schedule months in advance, you prepare on a periodic basis. But when you're in the playoffs, you don't know who your next opponent's going to be. So Richmond has already done some advanced research and analysis on both of these potential employees. During the course of the week, they had one coach working on Western Illinois, another coach working on Illinois State, so they could get a head start on that preparation until they know later today the actual opponent.
We saw the other half of the bracket, and for Danny Rocco, what a job he has done. Made the playoffs last year after a 4-year hiatus. Back-to-back seasons now in postseason play. It'll be 4th and goal from the 1 coming up for Rocco's club. What do you do here? I mean, do you try to push it across the end zone with this kind of lead, or do you simply kneel it down and give it back to the tribe?
Well, a lot of teams in this circumstance would take a knee. I wouldn't have any problem if I was coaching on the other side. I wouldn't have any problem if they just ran the irregular 4th down offense. It's up to me to stop. If I was on the William Mary sideline, I feel like, look, it's up to me to stop them from scoring. It's not up to them. And if they just play the game the way it should be played, run the proper play, I would have no problem with that.
Broadus will keep it and score the touchdown.
Well, he's a powerful runner, that's for sure. And he gives them an excellent 1-2 punch, a real change up at the quarterback position. But principally in this game, he's given them the opportunity to continue with their power running game and yet rest Green and Fisher so they don't have to take any additional knocks. This will be a big advantage to them as they get ready to move on to the next round of the playoffs.
With what you've seen out of Broadus and his physicality, now rushing for a career high 67 yards, do you think about using him more next week in the quarterfinals in certain packages, certain scenarios?
Well, it would depend upon what they see from Illinois State, but as well as he runs, I would think, Roy, as well as he runs the ball, that if he was as good a passer, then he would be the quarterback. But they've got more of a run-pass threat when Lilletta is the quarterback.
Now 39 seconds remaining. All Richmond, as the Spiders will advance to the quarterfinals after this impressive victory against their arch rival William and Mary. After the Broadus touchdown, a short kick back to the 40. Coach, been a lot of fun working with you as always.
My pleasure, Roy. I really enjoyed it. And hey, look, congratulations to these teams. Not a happy ride back to Williamsburg for Coach Jimmy Laycock, but this is one of the real iconic figures in college football coaching. Okay, he's had a marvelous career. It's disappointing today for him, but that doesn't take away from what his team accomplished during the course of the year. It's clear that he's done the maximum job of wringing out every victory possible. For the Spiders, this is a little different than when they won the last time. That was kind of a culmination game, that is, win the conference. Today, there's a little less elation in that this is just one more step to the ultimate goal, which is to be playing on the last weekend of the season.
Richmond again will face off with the winner of Illinois State and Western Illinois. This is what the bracket looks like. The Spiders fans waiting anxiously to see who emerges out of that second round matchup. And it looks like that'll be the final play of the game. A big win for the Spiders, and our final score 48-13. For Al Groh, I'm Roy Philpott saying so long from Richmond, where the Spiders find a way to survive and advance. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN So Long from Richmond, Virginia.